Hello, and welcome to Silicon Valley Girls Chat Over Tea. I'm Gloria.
And I'm Rosetta.
Yes, and we are your Silicon Valley girls. Yes.
Yes, we are. And thank you, everyone, for joining us again for another one of our chats.
Yes.
We love it. If you're returning, thank you so much for your support.
Mwah.
If you're new, welcome to Rosetta and Gloria. And as we always start our shows off, we'd like to remind you, if you like our videos, to hit the thumb icon below this video. And please consider subscribing to our channel because we love our fans.
Yes, we do.
And hit the bell notification
Ding, ding, ding,
if you
ding.
want more of the videos like this.
Yes.
And we start our videos off with tea.
Tea.
We always talk about what
Tea.
teas we're drinking.
When she said tea like that, my brain went tea and crumpets because of that beautiful English accent.
So we're going to have two different teas that we're talking about today.
Yes.
And the company is English Tea Shop.
Yes.
And the tea I'm drinking is called White Tea, Blueberry, and Elderflower. And it's so cute because it came in a pack with these pyramids.
Yes.
And there's 2 of each flavor. I forget, there was like 6 flavors, 2 of each.
Yes.
So that's what I'm drinking. Again, that's white tea, blueberry, and elderflower. Oh, let's see what it has in there. The ingredients: juicy blueberries, juicy. Did I say juicy?
You said juicy, baby.
Sweet elderflowers. I don't even know what elderflowers taste like. Zesty lemongrass, and sweet white. And a naturally sweet white tea that creates divinely delicious cuppa. A delicious cuppa. That's
right.
my one.
A delicious cup of tea.
Now Gloria's going to tell you what
Yes,
she's drinking.
and I'm having the apple rose hip raspberry ripple. Doesn't that just sound like so yummy? The ingredients are organic hibiscus. They are organic rose hip, organic apple pieces. We love that word, organic. Then we have my friend's favorite, licorice, because that is that is always something. If we had known, we would have flipped the teas because she's the licorice girl. And organic pomegranate concentrate, organic raspberry concentrate, organic black currant concentrate, and it also has, like I mentioned, licorice. And they wanted us to make sure we identified that because I didn't realize this. It's some people are allergic to licorice.
Oh, really?
So-
I've never heard of anyone being
Yeah.
allergic to licorice.
So these
Wow.
are our teas for today. They're steeping in our little cups.
Let's see. Let's check it out.
Oh, I have a little color. Do you
I have some color. They come out. They're like triangle
Look how cute
tea
that is.
bags.
Yes.
If you can see it, can you see that? Maybe not
Yes.
too far, but we've been having it seeping.
Yeah,
So
you want to try a little bit?
yeah, I can smell it. I don't know if
I
it's yours
know.
or mine.
Mine
but
smells amazing.
cheers. Oh, yummy.
Oh my God. That
This
good.
is really,
This
it's
is really
white
good.
tea. I can smell, I can taste the white
I'm
tea.
gonna let it steep
And
a
it's
little
just,
more.
I can taste the blueberries. Yeah,
Yes.
it's nice to steep a bit more. So we'll steep
Yes.
it a bit more. All right.
All right, so let's get going with our chat. We always kick off our conversations with Ellen. Ellen always reminds us to be kind to one another and to listen to one another. And as you know, this is her season 19, her final season. She's been having some amazing guests, and every time there's a guest on, I love when they say, "Don't go, don't go."
I'm so upset,
I
so
know.
sad. We'll never be able to come on again.
I know. So this week, one of the things she did is she highlighted a young man. His name is Kofi Thomas. And Kofi Thomas was, say, someone in the technology industry. And he lives in Brooklyn, New York. And he had decided at one point he wanted to do something to help his community. So he was out and about and he found a vacant lot. So he started talking to his neighbors about this vacant lot. And they came together and they created a 13,000 square feet garden.
That's right. Yes.
And they had to clean it up. And it was just, he said if you could imagine, like lasagna, it was trash compacted on top of trash for years. So the beauty is they were able to turn this around. So, Ellen loves anyone doing good.
Yes, good for the community.
Yes. So what she did is one of her new sponsors, Tis Best, gave him $20,000 to help further the community work that he was doing. And then, Ellen said, in the spirit of Thanksgiving, which is tomorrow, she said, Tis Best also wants to give you a $5,000 charity gift card that you can award to any charity of your choice.
Wow, that was
so not just do good for his community, pay it forward and help someone else.
20,000. Do
Yes.
you know how many seedlings he can plant?
Oh my God. Well, what's really beautiful is that people come in and they showed the lines of people coming to get natural organic
food. This is a great way to get natural organic because not many places.
Yeah.
Like if you live in neighborhoods like that, you're not really apt to have access to a lot of organic foods, right?
Yeah.
And this is a really great. I'm just thinking, the sheer amount of labor it takes for you to do that.
Yes.
To clean it up.
Yes.
To start just making the land.
Yeah, because
the right, what is it, the soil and everything.
You have to. So I'm sure all that crap that was on top of it made the soil very toxic.
Right.
So they have to dig out and dig and dig until they get to the best quality of dirt they can. Then they have to bring in more soil, stir all that up, let it settle, and then they have to, I'm sure they had all kinds of, chemical measurements to say, this lot is now,
deemed safe right.
to grow foods. The one thing that he said kind of gave me an aha moment. We live in California, and we're very blessed that we hear the word organic a lot, as I just read with the T, organic. And they were having a discussion, and there are communities where they don't have organic, they don't have natural, they have mostly processed foods. I was like, that's really sad.
That's very sad. And here we are in California, we take it for granted because there's so many places that we can get organic, and it's just easy. It's easy access.
And our citizens here, get a little tiffy at our government if they don't do things to help protect us by providing us access to natural, pure, and organic.
Yeah, so I really love it. Thank you, Kofi, for everything you do.
Yes.
And for feeding the people the right way.
Yes. So we're just going to have a great feel-good video today. It is just, we want to touch your heart as much as our hearts are being touched every day. So, as you all recall, when Dancing with the Stars started, I picked Amon. I liked him because he was kind of tall and goofy looking. He was he's a basketball player, and for whatever reason, he can't get a team. Kind of reminded me of Kaepernick.
Oh yes.
And so I like the underdog.
Iman, and his last name is Shumpert.
Sherpert.
I don't even know how to pronounce it.
It's Sherpert, I think.
Sherpert, okay.
Sherpert. And the thing about him is I watched Danielle, his pro instructor, create these dance routines that were just amazing. He is the very first basketball player to win
the Mirror Ball.
He won the Mirror Ball.
And you know how hard it is. I'm telling you, those professional dancers, that is not an easy task to come up with those routines.
And to make it look good, because I think Danielle's say she's 5'7". Okay, he's 6'9". For her to create routines where they could be in whole, number one, she probably had to wear 5-inch heels in every routine they did. And then he would do certain routines, and I don't know what happened because I watched it live. I think he accidentally hit her because at the end,
On which sequence was that?
This was at the finale, the freestyle.
The freestyle.
Because if you notice, he goes like that, like I'm sorry, and she puts her hand on his, and then she hugs him, and she's so proud.
I didn't see that. I'll have to go back and watch it because I recorded it.
Yes, and Derek, you know, I wish Derek had been there because Derek was, you know, he's got a rare form of COVID, a different strand. People, be careful. So Derek couldn't be in the ballroom, so they had his sister Juliet
yes.
Huff there. And she was like, oh. Now, Derek, I think, has 6 mirror balls. She has 3.
2. She has 2.
Oh, she has 2.
Yes.
Okay. So we're talking, they know what they're talking about. She said in the 32 episodes of Dancing with the Stars, that was the best freestyle she had ever seen.
Wow,
I mean, she was showing
that's a
her
lot
legs
for her
and
to say that because there's been a lot of freestyles
yes,
done.
Yes.
I'm wondering, like,
because I remember the one that Max did with Mel B.
I don't
where
remember.
she, oh my God, she was in hole and she walked. She would go down and she walked. I was like, I mean, you have to be really strong. So it was an amazing finale. I mean, JoJo did a fabulous job. Her and her partners.
She got 80, right? Because each time they did a dance, they could get 40 the max. I think both couples got 40 each time. So they both got 80.
Yes.
And it was neck and neck up there. Yeah. Who else was it? It was
Cheryl was in 3rd place.
I was upset that Amanda Kloots was last.
Yeah.
I was kind of upset with
I mean, I will admit though, what was his name? Kobe? No. Kobe. Okay. Now you know that I love me some pose with Billy Porter. When Kobe started doing the pose moves coming down and then he hit, I was like, okay. He really, really brought it. I loved Amanda because she touched my heart. We started talking about Amanda last year in 2020 because her husband, who is a Broadway performer, got sick with COVID. And while he was sick, he was in a coma. They amputated his legs. I mean, it was a whole lot of things. And she was such a brave woman. So I agree. I love her. I do think Cheryl and Kobe, that dance was amazing. I don't think that her heart was as in it as it had been in previous dances.
Oh, you mean Amanda?
Amanda, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But she did what this season has been a real season for change.
Yes.
Changing people, not just your technique and getting better, but really changing the person they were when they first started.
Exactly.
Which was very different from other seasons, which is why I really loved it. But for Iman to win, so when it came down to the last 2, I was like, I really want Iman to win, but I bet you JoJo is going to win.
I know, I said the same thing. I really wanted him to win because, you know, like it's hard for a man like that to be up on his toes. And when he did the Chicago stepping style, I was screaming at my television.
Because a lot of times you think that such tall people are going to be flat-footed.
Yes. All of them in the past have been.
They have been, yep.
Yes, but for Lim, and Lim was really right when he said, of all the seasons, this season, everybody brought it.
Yes, they did.
It wasn't like, you know, normally you're like, oh, you can go home. Because people would do something and you go, wait a minute.
And there'd be people on the bottom too that we would never expect to be there.
JoJo was in the bottom 2 once.
Yeah.
I was like, my God.
Yeah, that was
Iman
crazy.
was in the bottom 2.
Yes.
So, great job. The one thing I would like to say to Dancing with the Star people, okay, I understand that you want the show to be seen at 8 p.m. Central. I don't think it's fair to us in California where the show is actually being performed, that by the time we see it, all the voting is done, voting is closed.
Oh, I know that. That's what happens with also American Idol.
Yeah,
and America's Got Talent.
I don't like that. I mean, put it on earlier, but don't take, or what you do is you say close for the East Coast, open for the West Coast, because how do you, basically our votes didn't count.
Well, we didn't vote because that was the reason why. Yeah, it doesn't count.
But my point is they shouldn't do that.
Yeah, they shouldn't. So whoever is in charge of, I think that even now I'm blanking. The host, Tyra Banks, isn't she the producer or something? Or she's got her name on there as something.
Well, I'll see if I can find her on Instagram and send her something because I wasn't too happy. At first I thought, it was just that night. And then I started going back through the recordings, and they're all that way.
It's all that way. It's always been like that. You're right. I've always had an issue with that.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all. So let's see. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about our dear friend Michael Strahan. He's on Good Morning America. He does the Pyramid Show. You know, he does Fox Sports on Sunday morning before football. I'm a football girl. Mike, have you lost your mind? Mike is going to space. He's part of the next space adventure on December 9th. And I like how Roberts looked at him and she said, why?
I'm going to look at you and say, why?
I know.
And what was his reason?
He said that they approached him.
Who's they?
Jeff Bezos. It's the Jeff Bezos rocket.
Why? Is he going to pay for him?
Oh, yeah, of course. But the thing is, if you go back and you look at the conversation, remember, Michael was the commentator on the ground when William Shatner went up.
Yes.
And when William Shatner came back, Michael asked him, he says, what is it? Did you like it? And he told him, he said, every person should see that. I think William Shatner convinced Michael Strahan to do this.
Well, I have a feeling that's true.
Yes.
And I'm just wondering, I think that not anyone can,
yes. Right.
Hardly anyone will
this
have that experience.
Exactly.
And I'm thinking, yes, initially, why?
Yeah.
But I think that it's a once in a lifetime.
It really is.
It really is.
And the thing is, for me, I keep thinking, if we keep shooting off rockets, that's got to be affecting the ozone layer. So y'all should stop. However, if we get enough people with the proper visibility and money, maybe they can get the riches to realize that thin layer around planet Earth. Hey, we better protect it.
Well, my question is, if Jeff Bezos was not paying for Michael Strahan,
would he go?
No. Would he spend his own money to go?
No.
You see,
Mike, I love you. Mike, someone made a comment once that Michael Strahan has the first dollar he ever made. Michael is not frugal. Michael used to date the ex-wife of Eddie Murphy.
Really?
Yes.
No idea.
Oh, she's beautiful and stunning.
Well, I knew I've seen a picture of her, but I didn't know he was the ex-wife of Eddie Murphy.
So the thing is, I think her name is Nicole Murphy. She was, they put her on some show and she went to say Louis Vuitton, and instead of buying a pair of shoes, she bought 4. She bought one in every color. And I remember when I was watching that and I thought to myself, you're not going to be with Michael long because that's just not how he is.
Right.
Now, Michael has his own suit line, so he wears his clothes to promote his business.
Sure.
However, he wouldn't buy 4 or 5 pair of Louis
Vuittons, yeah.
Just why? Just because. So, Mike, we're going to be, the week before, right now he's okay, but the week before, I know Michael. So Michael's already in the gym working out, doing whatever he can do. 2 previous participants who went into space through NASA have said to him, when you're on because they are talking about G-force and what G-force feels like, and they told him, keep your eyes open.
Keep your eyes open.
And look out the window. Because you will never, ever, ever see what you're going to see again.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
So this is a once in a lifetime. And that's great.
Yeah.
Great for him. I'm glad that Jeff Bezos asked him. I mean,
yes.
This is something
because he said they approached me and I was like, yeah, I could have told you that. Mike's not going to spend that much money.
Yeah.
I love you, Michael.
For sure he's not going to.
I love you, darling. So, last week we talked a lot about Adele's One Night Only concert. I tell you, the more I hear the music, oh my God, the music, I really, I love Adele, but I really, really like Adele. So Spotify was allowing people to bounce all around the album. Adele said, no, you're going to listen it from song 1 through song the end. So she made Spotify stop that feature for her song.
Wow.
You can't, because what they do is they just kind of random.
Right.
But the thing about Adele's music, if you listen to it, it builds. And if you do willy-nilly, you mess up the flow.
Right. So you have to go with the flow of it
yes,
instead of
so that you can feel.
so you can actually feel it the way she intended it to be.
Yes. So she pushed that back. Now, Rosetta and I, we're spending a lot of time because we know you want to know, because we want to know, who were all those people in the dark? So we found out that, of course, Oprah was there because she did the interview as well as being at the concert. James Gordon, Drake, Gayle King, Donald Glover, Selena Gomez, Tyler Perry, Melissa McCarthy, Lizzo, Nicole Richie, Seth Rogers, Gordon Ramsay, Molly Shannon, Ellen DeGeneres, Sarah Paulson, Holland Taylor, Aaron Paul, Jesse Tyler Ferguson, Tracy Ellis Ross, Gabrielle Union, Dwayne Wade, and there's still more. So if you had a chance to get a glimpse, because I've tried to freeze frame so I can see who people are. Oh, and Kerry Washington was there.
Yes,
Yes.
Carrie one. We didn't even know about
didn't
that.
even know she
well,
was
they
there.
didn't pan the camera over her.
No, because I mean, it was. I wondered, okay, why not? And I thought, well, probably people were like, hey, you want to go to dinner? Oh, I can't tonight. And then their butt was at the concert and they didn't tell, you know.
Right, yeah. And then the other person that was there that me and Glory were surprised on was Kris Jenner's boyfriend, Corey.
Yes.
They said, we read, that everyone they invited were not allowed to invite a +1.
Yes.
So for Corey to be there, they panned over Corey. They didn't
Right.
show Kris Jenner.
And,
We're
and he was
surprised.
right next to Ellen. And I'm sure if Corey was there, Kris Jenner
Because
was there.
who is Corey? Corey only got famous because of Kris Jenner.
That's right. So we are like, okay, we know something's there. We're going to keep digging. And if you find anything, hit us up below.
Yeah, let us know.
Let us know. So a quick COVID update. We are all about boosters here in Northern California. A lot of people are moving. Airports are at pre-pandemic level. They're telling people like domestic flights 2 hours ahead of your flight, international 3 hours ahead. Bring your patients. And I'm like, oh my God. And then there are people who are just, you know, misbehaving. There was a man that was, he put his bag, his carry-on, through security with a gun.
That's right.
I'm
And then what happened? It went off.
Oh, he tries to grab
To grab it, and it goes off.
Yes.
Why would you have a gun?
And knowing
That's
you have to
not-
go through security.
Yes, that's loaded and not locked, and it goes off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand.
It doesn't make any sense. So there's lots of, you know, travel going on because people are just family, you know, devastated. They just want some love time with their family. So, you know, if you're out and about, please be careful. I was having a conversation this morning with someone, and it was one of those, what? The person said to me, we were talking about the vaccine, and they said that, you know, they want to know people who have had the vaccine because they want to know how they should behave around them. And I said,
What?
yeah, and I said, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And they said, well, you know, if a person has had the vaccine and they get COVID, it's asymptomatic to them. So they could be out and about with COVID and not know it. And I'm like, but you could be out and about as a non-vaccinated person with COVID
And still not know
and
it.
still not know it. So just, you know, just be aware, be conscious, know that there's a whole lot going on, and especially with our babies. There are too many babies getting sick now. And like I always say, moms, it's time for us to show up. It is time for mothers to vote your conscience. Don't listen to anybody. Don't listen to anybody. Listen to your gut. Listen to your heart. Sit quietly and think to yourself, does that sound real? You know, I think that if more people would listen to their guts and their internal feelings, we could start making our world and our planet much better and much safer.
I agree 100%. 100%.
So get your booster if you can. If you haven't got your shots, get your shots. A lot of people are losing their jobs because they thought, nah, I don't have to get no shot. And then I saw there were all these people who, you know, they call it a mandate. And my sister and I were always talking back in the days when it was time for you to go to school. They didn't say, would you like to have your vaccines? It's like, are you going to homeschool your child? No. your child is coming to school. Well, this is the requirement
Yeah.
for your child to be able to go to school.
Yeah, you got to
It's
get
the-
this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
I remember one of them was the tetanus for my son.
Yes.
Some other things. Up until a certain age, right, they ask you to take these, have these vaccines for your kids
Yeah.
in order for them to be safe at school. That's
Yeah.
what they want.
Because kids love kids. And kids don't know nothing about, I love now when I see little ones with masks on and they're hugging and they start out with the mask and they're really good. And then, they'll be like, it'll slip down, then the nose is out and it'll slip down a little.
Or they'll be touching everything and their mask and
Yes.
touching other things. And,
Yeah, so let's just do our part as adults so that our babies don't have to do it for us. We do it for them. So that's all we're going to say about that. Now, our next fun moment, the Bachelorette.
The Bachelorette. Hey, nation. Bachelorette Nation. Did you watch?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yes.
What do you think?
Yes, I told you about boyfriend was going to go home because he's the Bachelor and they're filming it now.
You think so? He is going to be the Bachelor?
He is the Bachelor and it's in film.
His name is Clayton, if you don't know who we're talking about. And I saw a different light to Clayton this week because he's been kind of like an underdog this whole time. He's been kind of up there, but the kids loved him.
The kids took him out of his, I don't know, it was kind of sad because I think if Michelle had seen what we saw.
Yes, she would have had it. Yes, so
him.
This week they did a group date and one-on-one date. Brendan, 2. Oh yes, 2. That's right. 2 one-on-one dates.
That's how
the
he
group
got
date,
home.
right?
Yeah.
And the group date was where Michelle's kids.
Yes.
They actually ran the whole show.
Yes.
So they were there
Took
to
them
decide
to a farm.
Yes, took them to a farm, had them do all sorts of things.
Milking cows.
Yes.
So
and
I know how to do that from when I was a little girl.
Oh,
and
wow.
churning to make milk.
Yes.
I really like Rodney. I know he's probably not her type because when you look at Joe and Nate, I like Nate. And I like Nate better than Joe. I don't know why.
Right. So the kids were in control this week.
Yes.
And they were the ones deciding. And it was really great because Clayton brought the best side of himself. And he was being his authentic self. You could tell. And there was one incident where he was actually with one of the girls.
Yes.
And he was painting the girl's nails.
Yes.
And then the girl said, "Can I paint
yours."
your nails?"
Yes.
And after they did one side, she goes, "Can I paint your other side?"
Yes.
So he had both of his nails painted. Then he built the best fort that anyone could build for a child.
Yes.
And he really brought himself
Yes.
that day.
Yes.
So he was really, they loved him and they
Yes.
wrote a letter.
Oh.
The letter, they wrote
letters.
2 letters, right?
Yes,
And
2
one
of the
was,
kids.
and they did say Clayton, but too bad that he got sent home.
Yeah.
I was
I
so
liked
upset.
him. Now Martin, I thought it was time. Martin was when Martin said to Michelle, "Oh beloved, you're putting words in my mouth," and Michelle said back to him, "Oh beloved." I was like, "Yes, girlfriend."
Well, even from last week when he said he was trying to explain what he thought of her,
Yeah.
independent lady, but
Yeah.
wanting like women want men to look after them and
And to
all
take
that.
care of
Yeah,
them
so
and
that
to-
was he should have been gone last week, but
Absolutely.
he wasn't. He kept for one more
Yes.
week and he's gone.
And even as he was being thrown away, he was still coming back at her.
Oh, forget it. He's
Yes.
gone. Luckily, she went with her heart, and he
Yes.
wasn't the right one. But you know who my front runner is? Is Brandon. He is my number one, and you know why? Because of oh my God! Can you believe that they went on one-on-one date, and she brought him to her house when the
where she
parents
grew
were
up.
not there, and then she showed him her room, and then they went back into the backyard in the
Right.
jacuzzi.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden the parents show up.
That's right. And I liked how he said, "Oh my God, of all the things that could happen, of all the places that you could be to meet the parents for the first time."
And before the parents showed up, right in their face, they
Yes.
were kissing.
Yes.
They were very
I
close
know,
and
and
kissing
Mom's
and
like,
hugging.
Michelle.
We're like, that was really weird. I thought that was just awkward. But
Yes.
Brandon handled himself really well.
Yeah.
I like him. He seems really authentic, genuine. He really cares for her.
Yeah.
And you know what really I love is that when Michelle left and he spoke to the parents himself,
Yes.
he actually asked is it okay if I ask for her hand in
Yes.
marriage? He
And
wanted
if
their
it gets
approval.
that far.
Yes, if it gets that far,
Yeah.
I would like your approval. I don't know why. I like Nate. I kind of like Joe and Rodney, but I really like I really like Brendan. So we'll see if the person I like gets chosen. But who's your number one?
Well, I still like Nate. And I think that's just because he's just, my brain's saying he's just perfect. I like the height. I'm all about height because, I've never been, I'm a pretty strong woman, confident woman. And so I could never have a husband that was shorter than me. I'd eat him up and spit him out.
He is quite tall because when they were standing there for the rose ceremony, I was looking at him, and next thing was Brendan. But Brendan next to Michelle didn't look that short.
They're almost like shoulder, because I look at shoulders. So that's why I like Nate. Joe concerns me a little bit about his history. How he could have been dating Michelle. Michelle could have never ever been the Bachelorette. However, something prevented it, and he's given her reason. So I'm a little
so she slid into his DM, as she said.
Yes.
And he ignored her.
Yes.
So you wonder why? Right?
And now why all of a sudden? Rodney, they did something when they were doing the wheelbarrow.
Okay.
And she put him in the wheelbarrow. And he goes, look at her doing this. She's doing this, y'all. Look at her. And then they got out and they slapped hands and bumped fists. And then she goes, kiss. And he kissed her. I don't think he's the one, but I like their relationship. And I like the fact that when the kids were talking, they said, I like Mr. Rodney. They gave the award to Clayton, but they liked Mr. Rodney.
Yes, they did say that.
So I like that. And however, we're going to be watching because something's about to go down. Because we've seen scenes of Michelle crunching down and crying.
Well, you know what? I'm optimistic because they didn't show anything bad with Brendan. All right? It was to do with the other guys. So I'm hopeful.
Yeah, you stay hopeful. And I'm
going to stay hopeful.
Yeah, I just want her to find happiness because sadly, Tisha and her man broke up.
Yeah.
And I'm sure some of that is because she's out doing the Bachelorette. She's not at home. And sometimes, people are able to work through situations. And then there are some times where people feel like, I got to have you here with me.
Well, especially when you're in the limelight the whole time, right? Like a lot of, if you notice celebrities,
yes,
when they're away too much out of the year, that kind of puts a strain on their relationship.
Exactly.
Even though they're both successful in their own rights, are independent, they could live on their own.
Yes.
I mean, they want that marriage to work, but sometimes it just doesn't if you're away. That puts a strain on it. So maybe that put a strain on it and that didn't work.
So sorry, Tisha, that you're going through this. However, you're out there. A lot of people are seeing how sweet and kind you are. So
I'm still thinking back to the days where she was with John Paul Jones.
Yes.
John Paul Jones.
I mean, he was crazy, but he loved her.
And she laughed at his silly jokes. And she goes, John Paul Jones.
I know that to me, when they did Paradise, that was so cute because, he would do something so stupid, but he made her laugh. And laughter is another way of getting to one's
heart. And they say that in a relationship, it's always good to have someone that's funny, right?
Yes.
Because that keeps the relationship going and on your toes. And I would love it. I love it when my husband is funny. And they crack a joke now and again. That keeps you going.
Yes, and you're like, oh, you got humor.
So I'm excited that the Bachelor is going to continue and we're going to see what happens.
Yes, because, next week it's all about hometown visits. And I loved how when she gave out the roses, she said, I want to meet your family.
Yeah. And another thing, sorry to brag on about Brendan, but he was the first guy that got to meet her parents.
That's right.
So it says a lot.
This week she gets to meet their parents. And somebody's going to tell her that they don't think their son is ready for marriage yet.
Yes.
So,
yes.
More to come. More to come. So as we've been sharing with you just a few things of what's going on in the world, we also wanted to take a little time and talk about gratitude and gratefulness. We are very, very grateful to be friends. There are so many people in the world and they don't have friends. I think during, especially that first year of COVID, 2020, I would say by March, when we all knew something was up, that was really, really bad. And then what happened after that is we had this whole situation of isolation. And if you go to the store, they'd only let so many people in the store, and you couldn't touch anything. And the baskets were sanitized, the food was sanitized. And now we have noticed that there are situations where people are sharing that they've gone through deep depression, because they felt like they didn't have anyone to talk to.
A lot of people can't, they're not used to that loneliness by themselves, because pre-pandemic you could go out and be with anyone,
and they were
and
always
everywhere.
out and busy.
Yes,
and taking pictures of food with their phones.
And when it comes down to, like, especially when you're single and you live by yourself in an apartment, and there's lockdown, you can't go anywhere, nothing's open apart from the supermarkets.
Exactly.
But when you go to supermarkets, you're in and out as quick as you can, right?
Exactly.
So they had time to think about, like, life, what it means to them. And sometimes, like me, I get my energy off of other people, but I'm thankful that I have my family, my husband and my son, even though there was only 2 other people. I mean, I'm grateful that we did have someone to be there with. Could you imagine if you're single and you're living in your own apartment by yourself 24/7 for how many months?
And some people were working, so they were on Zoom 8-9 hours a day. It was just, you saw someone, but it didn't connect to the brain as like being a human being, because it's a picture in a box.
Right.
And so that has been a really rough time for a lot of people. The unrest in our country, it has been, just, a man said something yesterday and I thought, oh my God, that is so true. And what he said was, people said, well, 2021 is way better than it was in 2010. And then 2010 was way better than it was in 2000. And he kept stepping back. And then he said, however, if you look at it, not really. Because a lot of people have been putting on these facades. As much as people like social media is not real. Let me say that again. Social media is not real. It is
what do we see on
image.
Social media is the image. You're right.
Yes.
People want us to see what they think they want to see.
Right.
So they're putting on this happy.
Yes.
Not like it's crazy. Like, I have friends who put on this such nice image, and next thing I know, they're divorced.
Yes.
They're getting a divorce. I'm like, what?
They were talking yesterday about Khloe Kardashian and how she wants her privacy. And I'm like, oh, really?
Once you get in the limelight, you will never be private.
She's got a clothing company. She's doing commercials for migraine headaches with her baby. She's on the old Kardashian show. They're getting ready to launch a new series. She gets paid to be a public speaker.
Right. You can't be out of that limelight once you start. That's not possible unless you go into hibernation.
Yeah.
It's not possible. If you're going to do all these business adventures and start doing this, that, and the other, how can you step out of that? You can't be private anymore. There's no way. You pay the price of that, right?
Yeah.
You really do.
You give up a lot, and and it's for money. I am so grateful that even though I call them the billionaire boys, are not big on doing a lot to help eradicate homelessness and hunger, there are many companies that are doing their parts. There are women who were married to some of the billionaires who are now divorced, and they are using their the incomes that they receive to go out and to do things to help improve the quality of lives of women and children. There's lots of things, and even though we might not see everything every day, I just know that I'm grateful that there's progress. I know that things are moving.
Exactly. Yeah. Back to being grateful. It's Thanksgiving tomorrow. And don't forget that it's not just once a day. Once a year.
Absolutely.
I always talk about, it's like Valentine's Day. Why do we need to show our love once a year? Why can't it be every day?
Every day.
And this is so important to me, because I think that we need to show thankfulness and gratitude every day of the year.
Every day.
Whether you say it to someone or whether you think it, I say this should be a part of your daily habits practice.
Absolutely.
To stop a moment, Like some people
Absolutely.
like to write in a journal, thankful
Yes.
journal.
Yes.
They just pick 2 or 3 things and they
Yes.
say what they're thankful for every day. Or even if you just stop
Yeah.
in the moment and say, universe, I'm grateful for being alive, whatever,
Yes.
thankful for
Yes.
anything. Could be thankful for the air we breathe.
Absolutely.
Grateful for my friend, thankful for my
Absolutely.
son, my
Absolutely.
daughter, being able to have enough food on the table, right?
Yes.
I tell people we have to be thankful because the more, I think being thankful and grateful is a part of being joyful.
Yes.
Because the more that you're grateful for and not concentrating on what we don't have, the more you, I always say, the more you'll have.
Exactly.
The more you concentrate on things you don't have and compare yourself to other people, the more you won't have.
That's right.
The less abundance you'll have.
And that pulls in the depression. And, I always start every day off, dear Mother, Father, God, thank you for allowing me to wake up and to experience another day. I believe that the source is an entity. It is a higher entity, a higher spirit. So I never try and say it's a man or it's a woman, because as a person who has been, to different parts of the world, there is no way that Jesus was fair skin and blue eyes. It's too hot. Sorry. It's just too hot. Even if the mom had brown hair and brown eyes in all the movies we've ever seen.
Right.
So that's why I want us to be grateful for the knowledge that there is something higher, better for all of us if we just strive to love and to nurture each other. We've gotten ourselves as a world into what, a southern term, a pickle, because some people don't remember there was a time when dinosaurs roamed the planet, and then the dinosaurs went extinct. And I don't know why man thinks that I am all that in a bag of chips and I can never be taken out, because you can. We are just so tiny and so small. And I look at things around me. I remember when ants were tiny, and now they have army ants.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
big.
They're big.
They're big. I have a girlfriend who lives in the South, and it's very moist. And she was telling me, she says, the bugs here, she goes, the flies, and she goes, oh, the roaches. They've always had what they call water bugs. They look like a roach, but they were big. She said they're real big now. So everything is evolving, and we have got to collaborate to protect each other. Every country, everybody has to work together. I have to remind myself always not to pray for negativity, because, sometimes I want to just ask God, can you just take them out? Because this is not good for the all. And yet I'm being taught through my minister that everything is cause and effect.
Yep.
And just because individuals think I'm rich and I can do what I want, that they may feel good today, that doesn't mean that's going to continue. You're going to have to atone for your action. So why not have a grateful day?
Yeah. And what are you grateful for?
Yes.
Do you practice being grateful every day, or is it just once a year when people start talking about it?
Yeah.
Because I think that we should start now, if you haven't started, to be grateful every day.
Every day.
You don't have to write it down, but just stop and be in the moment, because we're all so busy concentrating on what we're doing at the precise moment. We forget to stop and think about the things that we have and what we're grateful for.
Yeah.
Because once you lose them, we take it for like it's trivial, but once you lose them, your health, your family,
right,
the ability to do things, the ability to have like the sky, the clouds, the sun, the rain, all this global warming.
Yes.
We're now more grateful for what we did have and took it for granted in the past. So comment below what you're grateful for.
Because we also noticed that when we were locked down during COVID, Mother Earth was a much happier planet. I mean, I had friends tell me, oh my God, I can walk out into the ocean in LA and see my toes.
And the smog in LA, in India,
Yes.
cleared up completely. They
Yes.
showed, remember those pictures of the before and after?
Yeah.
It was clear as daylight. And then when there's all these people out and about, can't see anything.
Yeah. So let's just try and let's make gratitude and gratefulness a part of our life every day. And if you think to yourself, I don't know what to say, look at a baby's face. They will put you in a happy, joyous space. I don't care. You can be as mad as you want, and they can go goo goo gaga woo woo, and you're just like, you're there. So there are many, many little things. You know, I have a little book on the side of my bed, and Oprah started this years ago, where you put a book by your bed, and because as soon as you wake up, there are things in your mind. Write them down. Just write. Don't try and analyze it. Just write, and you'll be surprised, because a lot of times I wake up and I know I'm having a great dream. I want to go back to sleep, and I can't remember. So I started doing it to try and capture what I'm thinking when I first wake up.
That's a good idea. And I did this last year. I didn't do it this year, but I got a pumpkin. And every day I'd write 1 or 2 things that I was grateful for, and around the pumpkin. And then it's a gratitude pumpkin until it started to go soft and moldy.
I know, but that's beautiful.
It lasted a long time. It was on my office desk, and it was really nice to see.
Oh, that's beautiful. So thank you all once again for joining us. Ellen always reminds us that she feels the love in the room, and she receives it, and she sends it back out, and for everyone to take it and go out and share it with the world.
Thank you.
Mwah.
We love you all as well.
Yes, we do. And we want you all to have a wonderful, safe, and blessed Thanksgiving.
Yes, we do. And what are you doing for Thanksgiving before we go real quick?
I'm actually going to just spend it with one of my dear girlfriends. We're going to just kind of very quiet, easy breezy, not a lot of drama.
Okay.
How about you?
I'm going to my sister's house with her family and my family, and we're going to have Thanksgiving dinner there. And tomorrow's my son's 18th birthday. So we're celebrating as well 2 things to be thankful for my son.
Yes.
And the family we're going to be surrounded by.
Absolutely.
And I love it. I'm loving this tea.
I know. It's a very good tea day.
Yes. Thank you everyone so much for joining us. We appreciate this. And again, happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Be safe, and we're grateful for all of you for tuning in.
Yes.
And again, we're Silicon Valley Girls Chat Over Tea. If you like this video, hit the thumb icon, subscribe to our channel, all the usual that we say, hit the bell notification.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And remember to always keep smiling. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Be safe. Pack your patience if you're traveling.